Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our December Council Scouting Update Series. And we have quite a few things planned for you tonight. Once again, remember that this is being recorded for future use. General information, if you have any questions, please enter them into the chat, and we will have a question and answer session at the end. So with that, we are going to get started with our opening pledge with Steve.
All right. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. For those in uniform, hand over brow. For those not in uniform, hand over heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. And
So
then
let's
with
go ahead
that,
and
we have some announcements.
Yep.
Dr. Dan.
All right. So as you know, we're right in the midst or nearing the end of unit renewal. So obviously it is imperative that all units are renewed by year end. Remember, if you are not, you essentially are not rechartered. Therefore, you will lose your liability insurance and your access to Scout Book. So if your unit is not renewed, technically starting January 1st, you should cease and desist all activities because any liability will be borne by the chartered organization and the leaders present. So please get your charters done. And with that, as you know, with the new system, we have the Klarna system available to you as a payment plan that may help you with that issue of finance. And other things we have now, the co-ed troop pilot program was a success across the nation. As such, we will be opening that up to those troops that wish to join a co-ed unit starting in January. And then I guess Mike Lipnicki, you have something about Scout Book Plus training.
I can take that for my. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
All right. I was going to mention that it's actually part of a bigger event. The Eagle Valley's District Merit Badge University will be held on March 7th at Penn West, California. In addition to Merit Badges offerings to Scouts, there will also be adult education classes, and Dan happened to allude to Scout Book training. The registration will open at the same time as the Merit Badge University. Registration will be the same amount, which is $25 and includes a boxed lunch, a Merit Badge University patch, a token, as well as access to the adult break room in the new science building. Course offerings include, and these are single sessions, about 80 minutes per, unit finances, Scout Book for Cubs, Scout Book for Scouts BSA, Scout Book for Merit Badge counselors. There's also Intro to Hammocking, Water Treatment, Advancement in Older Youth Programs, Interfaith Services, A Year in the Life of a Cub Pack, the Den Chief's Role from All Angles, What Do Commissioners Do? Double sessions, which are 170 minutes each, Kickstart Training, How to Plan a 50-miler, Inclusive Scouting, Coast Guard Auxiliary Risk Management during an event, and Coast Guard Auxiliary Suddenly in Command. For more information, you can contact Kathy Willard at kathywillard27@gmail.com.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Is Mike going to bring us up to date with anything else with Scout Book?
The only other thing to note, I'm sure most units have bumped into this already, but Scoutbook has added some new permissions to the back end of Scoutbook that you can edit for your units. If you do not have the right permission set, it can cause some stressful situations where people who had access to things suddenly can't get their jobs done. They were kind enough that if you are going through there and you're not sure what to click, if you see a checkbox with a green mark next to it for somebody, they probably should have it. That's what that green check mark means. So if you're not sure, go ahead and click through that. Or if you need help, reach out. Your commissioners have been briefed on this a little bit more. And if they need help, they know how to find me and get me in touch with you so we can do some one-on-one time. So hopefully that helps everybody get through that little hiccup that came up here in the last couple of weeks.
Thanks, Mike. Steve, for our safety moment, I don't see Todd. I do have one if you'd like me to do that.
Go right ahead, Dan.
Uh, and this evening we have a timely topic on frostbite for our safety moment. Serious injuries can occur when it's cold and you spend time working, playing, or sleeping outside, particularly if you are wet or your clothes are wet or too tight. Scouts should be instructed to inform an adult as soon as possible if they are at an event, winter camp, or troop campout, and start experiencing any symptoms identified in the safety moment. With identification, we have first-degree frost nip, which is superficial. There is limited damage to the skin, might be painful with no immediate blistering. Wounds will look like a central white area surrounded by pink skin. Immediately remove yourself or someone with these symptoms from the cold and change clothing if needed. Soak the affected area in warm water or use body heat to provide warmth. Second-degree frostbite is also superficial. The degree affects both the top layer of your skin and the deeper layers. Signs are pink and moist tissue present beneath clear blisters, usually surrounded by redness and swelling. Be sure not to rub the affected area because friction might cause more damage to your skin. Rewarming must begin immediately, followed by professional medical care. Third or fourth degree frostbite is deep. These are dangerous and can lead to damage in muscles, tendons, and bones. Skin feels frozen and hard and appears red, purple, or even black. If left untreated, a development of thick, black, dead tissue will follow over 1 to 2 weeks. Rewarming in this condition will induce critical pain. So under prevention and treatment, we have be prepared. Pack warm clothes and change them frequently or as needed. At the first signs of redness or pain in any skin area, get out of the cold or protect any exposed skin. Act quickly. Frostbite treatment needs to be addressed immediately. The most dangerous situations may occur hours away from a medical professional's help. The first line of treatment is wearing appropriate clothing. Finding shelter to get out of the elements is necessary as well. Eating can also aid in elevating body temperature, but prevention is key. Layering clothing, socks, gloves, scarves, and hats will help prevent frostbite, while removing layers can help to prevent excess sweating. Change clothing immediately if it becomes wet. Your base layer of clothing should fit loosely enough to allow for full blood flow, which is necessary for warmth. And the airspace between layers of clothing provides additional insulation against the elements, such as cotton and wool material. If anyone experiences or displays any symptoms of second, third, or fourth degree frostbite, go to the nearest healthcare facility immediately. For optimum results, injuries should be examined by a doctor as soon as possible. And that's your safety moment for this evening.
All right. Next up is the membership moment. And tonight's membership moment is on dynamic recruitment. Dynamic recruitment is a technique by which we continually seek out potential new members and their families and cultivate them as new members, one friend at a time. This differs from static recruitment, the traditional technique of one-time event or joining night, where you sign up a group of people at once. Both are important for recruitment. In Cub Scouting, parents generally carry out dynamic recruitment. In contrast, in Scouts BSA, Venturing, and Sea Scouting, we depend on the individual scouts to recruit their friends to the program. So let's talk about the Cub Scout model, and I think you'll see how it can be adapted to Scouts BSA and the older youth programs. The parents of our scouts think about their friends and neighbors. Who among them has a scouting age child who would benefit from and enjoy membership in scouting? Everyone, right? Once the prospective family is identified, they are invited to participate in a normal friend activity. This can be a picnic, a play date in a backyard, a ball game, or another activity that is not directly scouting related. Alternatively, the pack can sponsor a picnic, a barbecue, or other outdoor activity for the families to get together without the usual scouting activities. Most importantly, it is fun for the youth and welcoming for the adults. Activity uniforms are best. The conversations among the adults can be about their children, about anything, and about scouting. Casual, natural conversations allow the prospective parent to grow comfortable and avoid the sense that they are being sold. Once the families have gotten to know each other and are comfortable with the activities, an invitation can be made to the new family to join the pack. It might not happen with only one event. The prospective parent might want to consult with their child or children to find out if they would like to see and learn more. The equivalent to this in Scouts BSA, Venturing, Sea Scouts, and Exploring is a peer-to-peer recruitment effort where the Scouts invite friends to join them and the fun. These Scouts know what their friends like to do. The BSA Membership and Marketing Hub has lots more information about dynamic recruitment, including playbooks for Cub Scouts and Scouts BSA.
Great, thanks, Steve. And so I will begin with our small rock topic, which is that of unit renewal. I will be showing you a video which will help you walk you through the processing of your unit.
This video will walk you through the procedure for a Key 3 member renewing their unit. As a reminder, renewals can be processed up to 60 days prior to expiration and 90 days past the expiration during the lapse period. Tips for a successful unit renewal process can be found in the job aid posted on the website at scouting.org, resources, unit and membership renewal. As a member of a Key 3, log into your My.Scouting account and go to Menu, Organization Manager, and then Unit Renewal. Review the information on the unit leadership page. If there were any errors to be corrected, they would be listed along the bottom. If everything is correct, sign your name showing that you approve of the leadership represented above and that you approve of the unit renewing. If you want to pay at council, you can click here for Pay at the Council Office option, and it will create a payment summary fee document that you would take to the council with you when you go to pay. Select Next Step Unit PIN Review. On the unit PIN renewal page, review the information to make sure it is as you want it to appear. If you have it selected to appear on Be a Scout, be sure that you do have fields selected to display. Otherwise, you'll get an error when you try to proceed from this page. If you make any changes, select Save, and then continue to Unit Renewal. On the payment summary page, select if you want to pay by credit card or by ACH. Enter the required information. Regardless of the payment type, you can choose to save your payment information so that it will be in your account for future use. Select Submit Payment. Next, you'll see the payment processing and confirmation page. At the same time, email confirmation and receipt will be sent to the email address provided in the billing summary section. Your unit is now submitted for renewal and will be posted overnight.
All right. Let's see. And next we have our member renewal growth report with Mike or Justin. So I guess it's you, Mike.
All right. So our member renewal is obviously that this is an important time of year. And we've been having the rolling renewals for our members because of the way that the system is set up nowadays. Um, so just a reminder, if you're not sure how your members are renewing, you can log on to your dashboard and be able to see all your members that are due for renewal. And I'm actually going to share a quick video just to walk people through the renewal process if they're not aware. So let me just share that real quick. And
Mike, we don't have any volume.
is it not coming through?
No volume.
Let's try that again. It's not giving me the sound option this time. Wonder why. I don't know what happened that it's not giving me the sound option. Huh. Well, there's no audio. I mean, there's no like talking on the video, so
All right, go ahead and let it run then.
hey, we'll let it. I don't know why it wants me to mark it up. All right. So, hope that was a lot of fun for you guys. But if you don't want to wait till the last minute, as the video said, and if you are paying in the Scout Shop or Scout office, please make sure that you print out a roster of those members that you're renewing. Bring that along with your payment and mark that so that everybody's aware of who's being renewed in person at the office. Um, we're seeing a pretty good mixture of folks that are doing both over the counter and online. So it's whatever you prefer, and we work with it either way. So with that, I'm gonna send it off back to you, Dan.
All right, thanks, Mike. And as a reminder, as the video mentioned, remember membership renewal is separate from unit renewal. They do not need to be done at the same time. Renewing your unit could take as little as 90 seconds to do. In addition to that, with our new clearance system, we've noticed that we've had some individuals sending their clearances in either by email or physically dropping them off at flag. With the new system, you should actually be uploading these directly into the page on our website. So that way your renewals, or actually your clearances, do not need to be handled 2 or 3 times. So please pay attention to the LHC website and you'll see a place to upload all of your documents as necessary. So with that, we're going to move on to camp promotion with Jacob.
Dan, real quick, there is a question on that. This is from Doug Barnes. If a parent has missed the renewal window and grace period. What should we instruct them to do next?
All right. So the easiest way to solve that is to uh, basically bring in that person's name, member ID number to the nearest scout office. So it'd be either Flag, Johnstown Scout Shop, or down in Potomac. And our registrars can get that all squared away. But we do need the unit number, the member ID number makes a big difference, and we can renew them. So.
All right. Jacob, you're up.
All right, so just a couple notes about Heritage Reservation this summer. First off, it is not too late to register. So whether you're a pack or a troop, you can register for camp this summer at heritagereservation.org. There's a tab called Events, and under Events, there's Summer Camp. At the bottom of that page, you can register. All that is due today is a $200 deposit, and then from there, there's two important dates for you. The first is going to be January 15th. January 15th is the first day that you're going to be able to go in and add participants for summer camp. So put in names and start finalizing your numbers for summer camp. And the second important date is going to be April 1st. April 1st is when the first round of payments are going to be due for that early bird discount. So the early bird discount adds up to a $40 discount per participant. So it's very important that you get all of that money in by April 1st on your registration so you can get that discount. Okay, a couple of notes about program this summer. We've been getting a lot of questions about when the merit badge list is going to come out and when the guidebook is going to be released. The goal for that is by the end of January. So by the end of January, we're going to have that guidebook out. We've been working on some new program for this next summer that I'm going to announce for the first time. This is the first time it's been announced in a public space. We're going to be offering mountain biking and rock climbing to our day trek list. So that's some new additions. Really excited about that. The mountain biking is going to be in Accident, Maryland, with Garrett College. They're going to be helping us out. And the rock climbing is going to be at Cooper's Rock in West Virginia. So beautiful sites. Really excited to add that. And a couple merit badges we're adding for sure this year, working on a couple, but for sure we're going to be offering artificial intelligence, the new AI merit badge, and we're going to be offering cybersecurity. So that's pretty much all I got on Heritage. Just kind of to say that we are in a good spot number wise. We have a lot of participants and troops and packs that have already signed up. I just looked yesterday, and there was a troop that even signed up from Tampa, Florida. So pretty excited to have them. And we've been looking pretty good. So that's all I got for Heritage. If you have any questions, feel free to add them and I can answer them.
Thanks, Jacob.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and move on to our big rock topic with Adam Fletcher, leader succession planning. Adam, you are muted.
I am. Thanks, Dan. Alrighty, folks. Well, welcome to the Big Rock topic this evening. I think our presence here at your Scouting Update series means that no one is going to disagree that every youth deserves a trained adult leaders. But every does mean every. Whether we're talking about Cub Masters, Den Leaders, Scoutmasters, the Assistant Scoutmasters, the Junior Assistant Scoutmasters, advisors and skippers for your crews and for your Sea Scout folks, which is why I'm wearing my green uniform. Your committee chairs, your committee members, whether that's at the pack, the troop, the crew level. Our commissioners all need to be trained as well, and our district and council leadership is modeling what we need to have for all of our leaders. Every scout deserves a trained leader, regardless of what pack, troop, or crew they happen to be associated with. So once every leader has some training, why do we place an emphasis on that? Well, a trained leader gives us this welcoming atmosphere. It allows new families to come into our packs, our troops, and our crews. It engages them. rather than just dropping scouts off and wandering away. We buy into the program that we offer. One of our aims of scouting is mentorship to youth leaders. If our adult leadership is trained, they provide excellent mentorship to our scout leaders, which is the ones we really want, right? We want to be scout led. And all of this ties together to give us the outstanding program that we're so proud of. And individually, we want to take a look at our successful units themselves. And as they blend together, we get a successful movement. So the big question we're here tonight is, how do we maintain this continuity? How do we get dedicated trained leaders to continue the program when someone decides to step away or is forced to step away? How do we do this? One important thing for all of us to remember is that no role in scouting is a forever role. It shouldn't be. We shouldn't be wearing the same patch on our arm for 50 some years, because sometimes we need new challenges. Sometimes we need our perspectives change and we need to reroute. And life happens. Life situations change. All of us are volunteers. So this is an okay thing. We're all in this mess together. Our level of dedication doesn't change, but the reality of our situation might. So we're going to talk about succession planning. You might be a great cub master, but your son or daughter is getting ready to cross over into a troop and you would like to go with them. Your family may be moving out of a position, and so a leadership role is now opened up. Life does happen, and from time to time, health concerns make us step away from some of the roles that we're excited by. Maybe we have a change at our workplace. An old job gets new responsibilities, or we decide to go to a new job, and that creates a reshuffling of priorities. Our family makeup changes. Sometimes our leadership, the kids are starting to age forward in scouting, and so we're ready to step aside for new parents to take over. Sometimes at home, we're taking care of our older parents, and so priorities need to shift a little bit. From time to time, we lose one of our longtime leaders, and that succession planning, someone needs to be able to step into the role. And sometimes we're not going anywhere. It's just our roles in scouting sometimes change. We change our shoulder loops and go from a troop to a crew, or get called because we've been through so many successful Eagle boards of review to sit on the district advancement committee. Something might change, and we shouldn't be trying to juggle everything together. We know that this trained leadership in each of our PAX troops and crews leads to successful programming. Many studies have been done, and if you're interested in those things, I know that Dr. Dan would be more than happy to hand out some of those studies. But we've noticed that scouts that their families are involved generally stay longer. We're not just about recruitment of scouts, we also want to retain scouts in the program. When we're doing this, the support is for all of us. Quickly, if some of our leadership decides to step away because they're worried that there aren't enough scouts in our unit, but that doesn't just mean those are the only folks that need to think about succession planning. Some of our rapidly growing units are also needing some succession planning. How many of our troops have sat down and said, well, I've got 20 kids in my troop and that's all I can handle? Well, that might be true, but that also opens up an opportunity for more assistant scoutmasters. If we happen to have larger and larger dens, we need more den leaders. And so the support is available for all of us. Change isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes we need a new challenge and we need to move on to a different role. When we think about this succession planning, when we think about the time for a change, all of the people involved need to think about the culture of the pack trooper crew that we're involved with. Each one of us, while we follow guidelines laid out by Scouting America, we have a tradition, we have a legacy in our chartering organization. And so each pack, troop, and crew has a different set of procedures of how they want to move forward. Some units have a leader, a scoutmaster that will be there until they decide that they're ready to move on. Some folks have term limits. We're going to switch out our scoutmaster every 5 years, and the scoutmaster emeritus steps down to an assistant scoutmaster in a mentoring role. So each unit's going to have a different set of procedures to follow up on that. We want to make sure that we support the leadership as we work to keep the scouts foremost, right? When we say support leadership, what we're really meaning is all of the leaders involved. So every time there's going to be a leadership change, there's going to be some leadership that stays, and we need to be sure that some leadership stays for institutional memory. The outgoing leadership, often when for any of us who are of retirement age, when you don't go to work for the first time, you sit back there and you go, oh, hey, this is kind of nice. I could get used to this, until about 3 weeks in where you say, what am I doing? And I need something else to do. So our outgoing leadership also needs to be supported in this. And most definitely our incoming leadership will need to be supported. So there needs to be some continuity in each of our steps. We need to realize why we're doing succession planning and why we're doing leadership change. This is a way to help our the youth leadership to decide their plans. If I don't have a scoutmaster right now, it's going to be really hard to make sure that we have the appropriate number of adults to send us off on our bike trip or our hiking trip or to go to Jamboree. We also are all here to help. Our first priority in all of our packs, our troops, our crews at the district and the council levels is that we're here to help. We want to make sure that this is the best program available for our scouts. The process can be stressful, and we need to acknowledge that. But the planning helps alleviate some of that stress. So, how do we get people engaged in all of this? How many of us got thrown into our scouting jobs in what felt like a game of duck, duck, goose? Somebody else is going to tag out, and everybody looks at everybody else in the room and says, well, you're going to be the next one. Or we're voluntold and we're the last person to take a step backwards, right? That's not real succession planning. That's succession triage. So here's how we plan. Our first goal, and this is the end of the year, 2025 is wrapping up. The holiday season is here, and we might be thinking about what does 2026 bring for our unit. So as we're sitting there thinking about that, we should probably discover which roles actually need to be filled. And when we list leadership for our units, we normally think of the forward-facing folks. We think about the cub master. We think about the den leader. What we don't often think about is the committee chair or the pack treasurer that happens to sit in the background. But their role is still important, because otherwise we have no funding for our blue and gold banquet, right? So we need to think about which roles will need to be filled. That's going to be looking at the leadership that we have in the units, the leadership that we might want to grow in the units. What kind of positions will we have? How long has somebody been sitting in this role? Our friends in blue, our Cub Scout packs. This one's pretty easy to see. A den leader sometimes will roll forward, will graduate with their den each time. And so you'll see by the end of the year, we're going to need a no bear den leader. Sometimes we think about someone giving us their 2 months notice, right? I would really love to stay in my role as advancement chair for the troop, but before summer camp, I'm going to have to step away and do fill in the blank. So when will those successors be needed? We really need to think about what the responsibilities for each role are. Do our PAX troops and crews have random committee members, or do we have committee members with a purpose? Do we have someone who's focused on advancement? Do we have someone who's focused on being a popcorn kernel? Do we have someone who's our social media guru? What kind of responsibilities would each member need to have? Sometimes in our planning, we really need to keep tabs on the folks that are currently in these roles and a realistic time commitment of the role. We have all heard the infamous phrase in scouting that it's only an hour a week. None of us believe it. But realistically, if you're going to have your crew treasurer, how much time will they need to devote to making sure that the crew's books are balanced? We need to identify our current volunteers, the strengths, experience, and expertise that they bring with them. And a lot of our committees, we end up having people who just have always done the thing. And when they step away, that wasn't really part of their role. It was just part of them being them. And being able to identify what those roles are, whether it's Dan's job or Mike's job or Steve's job, or it's just Dan or Mike or Steve being themselves. What expertise have they brought to their roles that they may want to mentor somebody else in gathering some of that expertise? Remember that we're not trying to chase people out of their roles. Sometimes we're ready for a new one. If I've been working as an Eagle mentor in my troop for 5 years, sometimes I might be ready to step into a district advancement role. And so they're ready for that next step that opens something up. But we don't want to chase anybody away. Remember that sometimes our roles, once we get our feet under us and we really enjoy the role, we set goals for ourselves to improve and grow in that current role. So what improvements to the job description are we making, and what would the next person need to pick up as they move in? There are available on the scouting.org website some parent and family surveys. You may want to be able to work through those so that they fit with your unit culture. But we want to determine the skill sets. Just because the newest scout's grandmother, who brings them to the pack meeting each week, just because she has worked at a local plant and been a site supervisor at the local plant for the last 50 years, doesn't mean that that's the only expertise that she brings. So determining some of those skill sets is going to be important for us. And it takes getting to know and building relationships with the people that are coming to our PAX troops and crews and bringing their kids with them. So we want to determine those skill sets. Remember that this is not just checking a box. Yes, there are certain roles that have to be done for our charters to make sure that we have a scoutmaster for every troop, and a committee chair for every troop, and a treasurer for every troop. But we really need to have the right people in the right spots. We're not just looking to say, yes, we're done, and then we can move on. And it's because it's who we serve, who we work for as volunteers, right? Now for the really hard part in succession planning. Someone has to continually update that list. Just because we've done it once and we say, yep, we're good for succession planning, doesn't mean that in March we get a new situation that needs to be given a new role for a new responsibility for someone. And so that list needs to be updated. We have a new member coordinator who's been doing a bang up job. And so now we have lots of new parents who are happy to help in the pack. So what is it that we want them to do? We have to continually update the list. And we also have to think about what we want. We have to dream big. If your pack gets so large that you need ... what do we need to think about? Who might we be looking for to fill that role? Think broadly, dream big. Now, how do we do all this? Write it down. It's never real until it's written down. One of the easiest ways to do this is just put out a spreadsheet, put out a table, list all of the positions that you want, and get some columns. What prospects are there? Who's currently in the role? When did they start? How long did we tell them that their job might be? Did any of us get told how long our job would be? So what are we aiming for? If one of our assistant scoutmasters was asked to fill a 3-year role as an assistant scoutmaster, and they've been in the role for a year and a half, we know that we have another year and a half with them before we will turn over onto the next member there. We need to have a list for candidates. What's our prospect list? And we need to keep revisiting that. One of the things for notes, we'll always want to leave these notes for ourselves. I would really like to have a longer thing to say what notes are, but they're notes, right? This is the place where we put things like, well, we've asked Sally Ann to step into this role, and she said, right now I have a lot of things at work, but I would really like to consider that in a couple of years. And so we make a note beside it and say, in a couple of years, we're going to go talk to Sally Ann about being the new trainer for the pack. Or we've new folks who have moved into the area and they have a scouting background where they've come from. Put some notes off to the side. When someone says, we've just started this new thing inside the position that I'm working, that wasn't on the job description, that wasn't one of the responsibilities originally, but when we're looking for a new person for that role, we want to make sure that we have that new responsibility noted. We don't have to do any of this alone. So for those of you out there that are sitting thinking about, how do I do this in my pack? How do I do this in my troop? How do we do this in our crew? You don't have to do this alone. There are loads of people out here who are willing to help. Your commissioner friends want to help. They're often the outside party. They know your troop and your pack and your crew pretty well. Hopefully they know you pretty well. If you don't know who your commissioner is, please ask. But they would be able to provide some assistance in saying, this person over here would be a fantastic role, a person to fill this role that's getting ready. Commissioners can also help lead us through this process. So how do we continue the succession plan? Don't forget to ask for help. The hardest thing here is if I'm the committee chair and say that I have to think about succession planning for absolutely everybody's role, one of the things that gets forgotten is who succeeds the committee chair. There are lots of folks out there who are coming to your meetings that don't know how to volunteer. They don't know how to make the ask. They'd like to help. They're really glad that their son or daughter is involved in scouting. And they kind of like hanging out and having a cup of coffee with their friends who are also parents and leadership in the unit. They may not know how to ask or if they're welcome to ask. So we all need to help reach out for that. Then we need to secure the commitment. If we want to make an ask of someone, if we've identified someone for a role, I'm always a big fan of at least feeding them or getting them something to drink. Have a conversation, have a relaxed conversation. All of us here today are in our uniforms. It doesn't necessarily need to be a uniform the first time that you make an ask for someone to enter themselves into the succession plan. But during that conversation, make sure that they are aware of the roles and responsibilities for the position that you're asking them to fill. We want them to make informed decisions. If these are going to be the trained leaders that guide our youth leadership, we want to model for our youth leadership how to make informed decisions. So the adult leaders have to make those. Make sure to answer their questions. This is not a voluntelling or an hour a week. We want them to feel that they fit into the role that we've chosen them for, and are asking the favor that they come along for the ride. We need to discuss the onboarding process. How are you going to be supported in this role? If you are entering into the succession plan, if you're going to be the crew advisor elect, how are you going to roll through that process while there is a crew advisor? And then when you take over, how will you be supported in that in your first few months? And all of that is really about how do we, as units and as districts and as council and as a movement, how do we succeed? How do we provide those trained leaders for our scouts? Training doesn't end with just here's some videos on the Scouting University or the MyDot Scouting website. Go take those things. It also involves someone guiding along with you, walking that path together. So be sure to set up a mentor for each of the positions that you're looking to fill. And appreciation and recognition goes a long way. Everyone has a lot on their plates. They are considering taking a new role, stepping into the succession plan, and they need to know that initiative is appreciated. Early on, there may not be fancy patches as recognition, but a thank you goes a long way. So we need to think about, be intentional about recognizing our leaders. If you'd like some hard copies of things to play around with, the Roundtable support page, and I'll send the slide deck over to the folks to make available to everyone. The Roundtable support page on scouting.org has a lot of wonderful things Not the least of which is the Hot Topic Leader Succession Planning Guide for this very conversation that we're having. Aaron on Scouting, the national blog, has posted several videos about succession planning for Cub Scout leaders and succession planning being a must for every scouting unit. So it walks through very specific things for how to find a Cub Master and Den Leader, or what are you doing in a Scouts BSA troop. For those of you out there that are commissioners and are thinking about a succession plan for commissioner service, the Masters of Commissioner Science Course 310 is about succession planning. And just a plug for everyone on this call up here. Next October will be your Laurel Highlands College of Commissioner Science, which is an outstanding college. So come on down and take succession planning there. Dan's chuckling back there because I guess that means that somebody's going to have to teach that class, huh?
I wonder who.
Oh, lovely. Maybe I'll work on succession planning then. Heart of America Council has an outstanding website that has lots and lots of resources, forms that their folks have put together and said, hey, somebody should have this. A good troop succession worksheet and pack succession worksheet are available on their websites. You can Google any of this stuff, but they are available. You can grow it as far as you want to, as far as you need to, because you're focused on the culture of your unit, right? Any questions, any comments, thoughts, concerns? I hear that feedback is a gift. And we'll
So far, I'm not seeing anything pop into the chat or the Q&A, so we'll give it a few moments to see if there's anybody in there, but go ahead.
Sounds good. Then as they do that, I do want to especially thank you in this, the holiday season has started, Thanksgiving kicks it off, and in the season of giving thanks to everyone on the call, the commitment that you have to the Scouts of the Laurel Highlands Council, your districts, your packs, your troops, your crews, the ships, the posts, you guys don't have any STEM labs, but that would be kind of cool. Any of your scouting units that you have is evident by giving up your evenings, watching these types of resources, engaging with and watching these types of resources that you all have out there. That is an amazing work. And I'm appreciative to the group here for calling me over, because I'm just a visitor from across the way. But the dedication of the Scouters of the Laurel Highlands Council has indeed reached the ears of Mountain Area Council. We're well aware of the good work that you do, and that is appreciated. So thank you for what you do. And if there's anything that we can do to help, let us know. Thanks, y'all.
Great, Adam. That was a great presentation. And once again, it is information that every unit can utilize. So we appreciate you coming from over yonder to help us out this evening. So next up is our question and answer session, but I don't really see anything. So Steve, I'll leave it up to you if you want to go ahead with the closing prayer or give everybody a minute.
Well, I'll give the closing prayer and we'll see if anybody happens to submit a question during the very short period that it'll take for me to give this prayer. Lord, help us to carry your spirit in our lives that we may share it with others by living it ourselves. Help us to offer all that we have and are in your service, and help us to live the spirit of scouting so the spirit will live on through us. Amen.
Amen. Well, I guess with that, we shall adjourn. And from all of us to all of you, happy holidays. And until we meet again, good night.
Good night.
Good night.